Hey everybody, this is TF Note. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another action figure review. This is going to be of the Sentinel Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse SV Action Miles Morales. So this is a little bit different on the channel. I'm vaguely familiar with Sentinel. I own a couple of their products, particularly the Gurren Lagann model kit, which I still need to review, though it's been out a while. I really like that figure. I gotta review it. But this figure too got on my radar a couple months ago. I knew about it a little bit before then, but I saw some images of people getting theirs early, and I was like, okay, I gotta pre-order this. I actually got mine on a pretty good sale, like a little under 80 bucks at GameStop. Originally it was a GameStop exclusive, but then there were other online retailers that were getting it, and it got re-released recently, as in, you know, the pre-orders reissue and whatnot. So this thing, I don't know if it's super duper hard to get now, but I think it's not going to be super duper impossible. So if you're looking to get this and maybe don't want to get the May Effects one like I didn't want to, this is a pretty good looking option. But let's go ahead and talk about the packaging top half here. It's very cool. You get to see the figure in the window box. There were some of the items that are being hidden a little bit by the box, but we do have SV Action Miles Morales. It does have the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse logo right there with the figure being posed right there, and I do have a pretty big ugly sticker that says GameStop exclusive, which it really isn't at this point. But we also have some more accessories Marvel there as well. Really cool patterns on the backdrop there for the design of the box as well. On this side, you can see some different images and some of the accessories that it comes with, including some alternate heads, hands, and accessories. And then on this side, it gives you a little bit better idea of some of the other alternate parts, including the jacket parts and the different arms and basically the lower torso parts. Top here, there really isn't much going on. I mean, surrounding this Spider-Verse logo right here, as you can see, is just literally all black on the packaging. Now we get to the back, it's an image of the figure posed like he was in some of the promotional images from the movie, as well as it says SV Action Miles Morales, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Bottom left there, that is the Sentinel logo. Sorry, the bottom right, was what I meant to say. Bottom left is the Marvel logo, of course. And then on the bottom here, this is distributed by Bluefin, and then we do have some barcodes in case you need it, and then some other stuff like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse SV Action, and a phone number too for the company. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and get this figure out of the packaging. So first impressions out of the box, I love it. This figure is awesome. There's very little I dislike about it. There are a couple things, but overall it is a very top-notch figure. If anyone's interested, I do have a live stream that's about 40 plus minutes of me opening this figure, doing a live first impression on my Instagram if anyone's interested. But we have the review here if you're also interested, if you want to take a look at some more in-depth stuff, which let's go ahead and talk about all the accessories that he comes with, which he comes with a lot, and I'm going to try to go through all that really quick, then we'll take a closer look at the figure. I know I say this all the time with pretty much every imports figure I get, but read the instructions. This is inside the box. They are in black and white here, and they go over some of the alternate parts here. It's a little too bright, as well as just all the accessories, how to put on the alternate parts and mix and match and whatnot, as well as taking a look at final products of how things look, as well as doing the display stand, which was confusing at first, but I think I have the hang of it now, and then that's what the back of it looks like. So here's a quick look at every single accessory this comes with. There's a lot here, so if this is good enough for you, skip to this timestamp so you can take a look at the details of the figure. But I'm going to try to go over everything really quick, because I'm just going to be here all day. Starting off with the jacket here, lots of nice, a little bit of nice detail. I think I did put on the hood earlier. I think it's going to scuff up around here, unfortunately, but I do think it will be covered by the separate piece of the hood. We do have a little bit of shading of the green in there, but then I don't think there's much when it comes to shading in the red. A little patch there. Great details and whatnot. These are hard plastic. Be careful with these. I feel like these can break any time. Actually, they might be able to swivel. They swivel! They swivel! I didn't know that! Look at that! You have to be careful, though, but they do swivel. So that is very nice. Now, we do have the alternate arms here, which this is just... I really hope stuff like this is meant to protect the inner joints and whatnot, which is cool, but I really hope this didn't sacrifice other accessories we could have gotten, like maybe another head. That's one of my only complaints. I wish we had an extra head with a squinting, both squinting eyes. But lots of protective pieces here for the joints. And the sockets, actually, I should say. These are the arms with some nice details on the, the wrinkles on the arms there with the cuffs too. Pretty good paint. The inside looks like it is white, but it'll be covered by the hands. It's not going to matter too much. Same thing going on here with the pants. I do think there's a little bit of maybe some dark shading going on some of the wrinkles, but I could be wrong. But we do have these little pegs that pop out here, and again, this is protective. A belt in there with a little bit of paint on the buckle, and then that. Last but not least, I went ahead and put on the tied laces on his shoes, looking very cool. I think these look great. They don't have, I think it was Nikes, right? They don't have the Nike logo. I can understand why. But we do have the bottom of the feet right there looking really good. Lots of great details on the white and the red and the black too. So, and these are loose pieces here, but once you put this on, it's not going to matter. It's not going to be super duper loose. And this is everything put on real quick. I'm showing you the version where he has the hood up first, and then here's the one where the hood is down. And I think it all comes together really well. You'll have to remove some joints in certain areas, but it's really easy to do so. Now the hood up definitely looks weird. It doesn't look supernatural. It will if he's looking up a little bit more. And there's images of the figure on the box where he's posing, he's looking forward too, like he's crouched down looking forward with the hood on like that. So I guess that's what they wanted to do with that, but I don't know. I just think they kind of should have raised it up a little bit more on there. Also, what you're going to notice with these arms, because of how the jacket is sculpted, these things here, yeah, they're going to stick out a little bit. They're not going to sit down naturally like they do with the, the arms for the normal suit, but the rest of this does look good. I lied. These little cuff pieces around the shoes, they are still really loose. There's a little bit of red splotching on the white there too. But I still think it's a really good look that they did here. So I found the easiest way to talk about everything is just to try to show off some images of it on the figure. Here are the relaxed hands looking really good. Pretty much every hand is detailed very similarly like this, as well as painted. There's actually some sculpting in the lines. Not super prominent, but very, very subtle in the webbing there. And there's a little bit of like some lighter gray going on there to kind of make the lines, the webbing on his suit distinct. And the red on the hands look very good, I think, on pretty much every hand. And these just look very nice overall. Now these are definitely wall crawling hands. The fingers are bent a little bit more, and there's not much to complain about here. I think everything is sculpted very nice, again, similarly like the previous hands. Then we have these gripping hands that they're sculpted in a circular motion, as you can see here, to hold a couple different accessories. One of the accessories that you're seeing on the right there is this right here. This is the web piece right there, and that's where he holds it towards the top there. It's molded like so, the sculpting of the webs. And I can't tell you if it's like there's some white paint on a translucent piece here. I don't really know, but this is just a very nice looking color for it. It's a little bit hooked right here. There's no bendy wire at all. It's just a solid piece, so I would not try it. It is a bit pliable, so if you're like, it's not going to snap immediately, but if you do bend it at 90 degree, of course, it is definitely going to bend. No duh. And then we have Spider-Ham's mount looking really good with some nice details, some cartoony painted details and whatnot. And actually at the handle it does separate, so he can grip the mallet, and I think that's really well done. Then we have this hand here. This is a spray paint hand here, and the spray paint can is molded into this hand. So here's what the spray paint can looks like. There's some silver on the bottom. We have some white and some purplish bluish towards the top with the black lid or whatnot going on there. And that is sculpted really nice. What you're going to notice is the pegs on these hands, they are circular. There's really no hinging going on, which that is a bit disappointing for me. We'll go over it in the articulation section, but I don't think it actually hinders the hand articulation too much, I don't think. Then we have these expressive hands for if he's like jumping, flying through the air and whatnot. These are very cool. I'm going to have a lot of fun with these. And then for another hand here, we have actually, it could be a relaxed hand, but it's mostly meant for holding the phone. And you can see the phone here is really nice. It's mostly just a black sculpt detail here. It's very small. I might have to actually zoom in really quick to show you here. So that's what the back looks like. Not much going on there. But that's the front. I'll go back to the image for you guys. You can see it's his his screensaver or whatever on it, or his wallpaper looking really nice. You can't really see the words on there, which is fine to me, but you could definitely make out what that image is on there, and I think that's really cool. We do have thwipping hands here. Now, my only complaint with these hands is that the webs look like they are sculpted in there. I have not been able to take out the hands at all, or the webs out of here at all. That's a little disappointing. I do like when I just have normal, thwipping hands. It does make sense, of course. Every time he, thwips, the web goes. So it makes sense. And I think the sculpting on here is actually pretty good. And I think that they're both done very similarly. I don't really need to talk about these web pieces too much. The individual pieces, hands. I mean, but the hands, I think they look really nice. Moving on to the alternate heads. This is the head, the unmasked head he comes with, and man, this looks great. Now, my only complaint, it kind of looks like it's looking off to the side too much. Yeah, this eye looks like it's straight. The left eye looks like it's going inward. So I don't really know what's going on entirely, but like it's not too bad to me. I think you can kind of center it pretty well if you try. And man, it looks just like it came out in the movie. This is a fantastic sculpt. Mostly some paint on the eyebrows and the mouth there. I think there's a little bit of the skin tone bleeding onto the hair, as you can see, but it's not super duper noticeable. I don't think that this is it definitely looks like a separate piece going on here the way that it's sculpted. I don't think the hair pieces is removable. I was like, can the eyes move? That's crazy, but I don't believe the eyes move at all. What the inside looks like, and that's what the top of the hair looks like. Now, a lot of people are going to mention that the heads, they just look really low, and we'll talk about how I'm going to fix that in a second. Really not me, it was someone else, but yeah, this is what it looks like on the body. It does look a little too low. And then this is what the other head looks like on the body. This is a head with an open eye and a squinting eye as well. Now, I just wish we had another head that has maybe not squinted like this, but smaller eyes. He does have pretty big eyes with this mask, of course, in the movie, so that makes sense. And we have that with this head. Not mad about that. Maybe if they were just a little bit smaller for one head, and they looked symmetrical to kind of, give us a little bit more options with posing around, that'd be fine. But I think it looks fine as it is. You're going to notice it with the other head too, but there is some nice lines and texturing and paint overall with the webbing on here, as well as on the eye pieces too. Really nice details. You can see the lines right there. So I dig that a lot. Here's his pair of headphones, looking really nice with some nice brown and black, a little bit of like some grayish, bluish almost going on there. So that looks really good. Now this doesn't really look that good on the unmasked head, which I would actually want to pose it more with that on there. But because both of the other heads are circular, you can pop it on both of those without really any problem. So I think that works well. Last but not least, we do have these these alternate loose laces, and I don't think they may be sculpted the exact same way, maybe not, I don't entirely know, but they don't have a bendy wire like I thought they were going to, which I mean, part of me did, part of me didn't think they were gonna do that. It would have been cool if they did, but it's fine that they didn't. This is how they look, and here's an image of I have one of the shoes without them on there, so you could see how you're gonna insert that. There's a hole on the shoe there, you see on the his left foot. On the right foot, you're just gonna interchange the tied laces with the not tied laces. Now here's the figure stand, which, quickly going over it, it seemed like a pain in the ass to work around at first, but once I read the instructions, it's actually pretty simple. So there's some removable pieces. This piece will slide up, and again, you're going to want to look at the instructions, but this whole stand will slot into here. You put this in here so that way that is secure, and you can see those pegs in there. They're not actually going to be they'll move around really well, and this plastic piece will be underneath, as you can see with the other three ones here. You'll just push it out with the stand peg going through it, and again, this moves around really well. If you don't want to do that, you can. This has actually been really difficult for me to do. Actually, it wasn't too hard that time around. All four corners have a peg hole, so we do have a peg on here, so that way you can just do it like this. It clamps like this, and it hinges all the way around. You can rotate it, spin it, whatnot, and there's three different pivot areas going up here too. We do have a swivel up here where the clamp goes, and these are plastic, so they'll fall apart a little bit too easily, but you can clamp it like so, like that. I think that looks really good, and there's a bunch of other stuff about this, and there's actually a little bit of detailing going on in the stand too, with mostly just lines, as you can see. I think this is one of the cooler looking stands I own in my collection. Okay, let's get the elephant out of the room, which I pretty much already did. This head sits too low, I think. A little too low. It definitely did not look good. Maybe it doesn't look too bad right now, but it did not look good when I was doing the live stream the other day. So yeah, this we're gonna talk about this head he comes packaged with really quick, and then I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do with it, which I think a lot of people are gonna do too. Great sculpting, the paint on the lines going through, you know, with the webbing and the texturing on the suit looks fan-freaking-tastic. It is a beautiful looking piece here, and you can see some lines, you know, some sculpted lines separating some of the red pieces there, you know, for his eyelids. Now, if you see right there on the left eye, it looks scratched. So that is concerning. It's not super duper noticeable, but I could see it enough right now in my camera that it does bug me. Now, I have, well, that's what I think a lot of people do now. The Figure Fix, he, you know, makes 3D printed custom stuff. I'll leave his Instagram and a YouTube video on how to install this in the description of this video. But I have this 3D printed neck peg here. Simply, you're just gonna pop this head off here, and then you're gonna heat this up with, you know, maybe some hot water or a hair dryer for a bit. Pop this out, and then you'll pop this bad boy in. So I'm gonna go do that really quick. Okay, so the neck peg actually fell on there very well. A little bit of gappage on the back there. I don't think it's gonna be too bad if you pose around a little bit like that, you know. Not too bad, honestly. In person, on camera right now, it doesn't really look like much of a difference, but in person, it definitely did. It's good. So, Figure Fix, if you're watching this, I think you did a really good job. Thank you. It's like $10, you know. And I think that included shipping, and I'll leave the link down in the description if you guys need that neck peg. I have no idea if he's open to commissions anymore right now for that, but I'll just leave it there just in case if I can find it. The rest of the body, you know, let's go to the neck. Looking really good. Here's some nice lines. There's lots of nice tiny details in there that probably was not easy to sculpt, and I commend the sculptor. I don't know the name. It probably says on the box. Whoever sculpted this, they did a great job, as well as the painting on here is very good with those striped lines there. Not really striped lines, but the webbing, you know what I mean. Now we get on to one thing I slightly have an issue with, and not too much, you know, a little bit of some red splotching onto the black of the suit. I think it's fine for now, you know, as long as it's not like a color like orange or red or green. I'm sorry, the red is red already on here. I don't know, you know what I mean. Anything that isn't red on here, I think it's fine, because, you know, look at the front of his logo. It looks sloppy because he painted it on there. You know, these little stripes or these red pieces going around his arm, shoulders and whatnot, they look clean. But same thing on the back. You can see the logo there, and it looks painted on there like he painted it. It's himself. So I'm fine with it. We have the rest of the webbing going on at the chest here, looking very clean. It's a lot of great texturing. There's just individual details on the texturing that look fantastic. Going down here, there's even some texturing on that elbow right now. You don't get anything on the front of the joint here, as you can see, but it is going to be the same color as the rest of the suit, so it's not too bad. Now, again, I think that they wanted to keep the sculpt of the wrists, but you kind of sacrifice that for the hinge. There is definitely a rotation, which we'll talk about the articulation later, but you can kind of fake a hinge a little bit. You know what? I'll live. The rest of this also looks really... and now... I want to, you know, here's some, like, his chest. You can see it's a little bit of protruding going out there, like, muscular, you know. And, you know, a pretty slim body here, so they did that very well. Some of the proportions may look a little weird. I feel like these hips are going out a little too much. Like, you know, I think his lower torso is very... I mean, that was kind of like that in the movie, too. His lower torso is tiny. His legs are very long. I think his legs are pretty long in this suit in the movie, too. Just give you a quick look outward. I do think that these hips go out a little too much. But the rest of the texturing, it's just kind of... I think there is paint, but it mostly looks like it's molded. I mean, if there's paint on here, then there's paint. You know, it's not the craziest amount of paint. But, you know, just black texturing going on here. And that's what the back of the joints look like there for the knees. Getting down here, you see some more of that webbing going on at the front of his shins. And then towards the bottom, or the front, actually, the top of his feet, I should say. I think there's some lines sculpted. Yeah, there's some actual lines sculpted for that too. And that's what the bottom of the feet look like. Not much going on. I mean, he's not wearing sneakers though, so I mean that, you know, that definitely makes sense. So I'm gonna zoom out one more time. Yeah, do you see what I mean about the arms standing, or, you know, sitting lower, you know, naturally? than the jacket arms. So it looks good here. It doesn't really look amazing with the jacket arms. But man, this thing, it looks like it came right out of the movie. I'm sure the MoFX one does too, but from what I've seen, this I think looks better. Now, they didn't skimp out on a lot of the articulation either. Even with this new neck peg on here, you get the same range of motion. It does swivel here. It can go up actually pretty far like that. I think the previous one also went about that far. You might get even a little bit better because you have a bit of a gap here now. And then there is some articulation going on here at the neck. So it goes into, going into the torso. So you get all this range of motion swiveling upwards, downwards, side to side. It gets snagged a little bit in some areas, but overall, very, very good. Now, we don't have a butterfly joint, but the way that these are sculpted, which these can pop out really easily because of the jacket arms. There's lots of nice hollow pieces going on there to where it seems like we do have a butterfly joint. I like that. Arms can swivel like that. They go out that far. That's really nice. The joints on here are loose enough for posing easily. Sometimes they may feel a little too loose for holding heavier objects, but keeping them posed like this, you're not going to have a problem with him keeping a pose like that. It's very awesome. Upper arm swivel there. We do have a bit of a swivel actually going on here. I'm going to bring out a jacket arm. There is no swivel sculpted like his suit arms, but with this jacket, it's slightly, just ever so slightly, swivels like that. Just wanted to show that off. Again, double joint elbows. Look at that. Oh, that's awesome. Swivel at the wrist. A bit disappointing for some. For me, again, I'll live. It could kind of fake a bit of rotation, hinging and whatnot, but oh well. We do have swivels, ball joints at the upper waist here. It can swivel all like this, backward, forward, side to side. Same thing going on at the lower torso, and it all just comes into a culmination of great articulation. The leg articulation could be a little bit better. I mean, look at that. That's really good. I just thought I can go up a little bit more. It feels like it's really fighting it when you want to push it up a little bit more. Backward, kind of like that. So leg articulation is not horrible. The upper thigh swivel is kind of like the way that McFarlane does it, where it's built in there, but it's way better than McFarlane toys, of course. I feel like it's going to get snagged a little bit on there. I feel like some of the paint rubbing might, start happening with maybe some of the sculpting going on in the chest too, so that's a little concerning, but that's the split. Not perfect. Good enough for me. Double joint knees that bend really well. Actually, I feel like it hyperextends the leg a little too much. A little bit of some swiveling also going on in some of the knee areas. Swivel the foot, hinge of the foot, that is really good. Ankle rocker, as well as toe hinge. Here's the biggest noticeable difference you're going to notice between all the heads. This is what the unmasked head looks like, and it looks to me way better with the figure fix peg on there than it did with the peg it came with. Also, this knee joint was stuck, and look at the white on that. I mean, it works, but look at the white. We're kind of looking like it's stressed. It's even worse on this knee, so that's a little worrisome. Just keep that in mind. Be very careful doing the upper knees. So quick size comparisons here. The Spider-Verse Marvel Legends figures we have, and the difference is night and day. I think the one in the middle looks really, really good compared to at least the Miles on the left there, which is a bit taller. I don't remember how tall he's supposed to be compared to Peter over on the right there. I think it might be a little too short, but I think it can still work with other lines too. Here is on the left SH Figure Satoru Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen. On the right we have Figma, Good Smile Company, My Hero Academia, Deku, which not including the top of the hair. I think Deku's going to be a little bit shorter than Miles here, but Gojo is of course going to be taller. So yeah, I like this figure. I like it a lot. It's not perfect by any means. The arm's not sitting down flush with the jacket arms, as well as a few areas of paint splotches. And the fact I had to replace the entire neck peg to make it look somewhat normal with all the heads, that is a little, I wouldn't say annoying. Those are just mostly some gripes. Everything negative about this figure is trumped over when it comes to the positives. The amount of accessories that this figure comes with is insane. Also, the articulation is very good. The detail, paint, and sculpting is top notch. I just really enjoy my time with it. It's such a fun figure to pose, man. I can't put it down. That's how I know that's going to be one of the best figures of the year for me, at least, is when I just can't stop posing it on my free time. It's really fun. It is a little bit hard to get right now. I got mine for a little under 80 because it was the pre-order was on sale at GameStop. It might be a little bit over 80 there now. It might be the easiest place for you to get it there. There might be some other places. I'll leave some links down in the description below. But to be quite honest, with everything good about this figure, just all the stuff that you're getting here for what you're hopefully not going to get too overcharged, but what you're paying for, I think it may be a little bit better than the Mofix one. I can't say that for sure because I don't own it, but just from what I see, I just think it looks better. It's just such a top-notch figure. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think about the figure, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends. Follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I'll see you guys later.